Howdy all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Ooh, I'm infected. Let's see here. That, take versus use confuses me. Because, you take your pills. Hey, you know what? I need forged iron, I guess, sooner than I need bullet tips here. Bullet tips. I mean, I'll take bullet tips as well, but, gunpowder. $9mm rounds. Just let those... Why are you in there? That doesn't make any sense. You should be over here getting turned into stuff. Alright, so today I want to work on my electric fence a little bit here. Electric fence posts. So I need 5 forged iron and 2 electrical parts. Now I think last week, or last episode, I looked and I saw plenty of electrical parts. Oh yeah, I've got 214 electrical parts. It's not going to be the issue. My issue is going to be a distinct lack of forged iron. Yes, I can now make 3 posts. Oh, 4. I made 4. Yeah, because what I want to do is I want to place the post down along the outside here. And so I'll need quite a few posts. I'll need more posts than I used last time. And that way the creatures, the zombies, the things that try to get me. I suppose it'll work on wolves and whatnot, right? Can get a little shocked before they fall in the pit. That's weird. I feel like I have plenty of room in my inventory. I'm looking at an empty spot right now on my hotbar. Why did that fall on the ground? A little spot in the road I had to fix. Alright. Ooh, I should probably go get some lumber too so I can replace the missing spikes down there. Oop, I was not running as fast as I thought I was. You did. Ooh, can of tuna. Can't eat it. I almost feel like I should level this out. It's a lot of digging, but I think I might like it better if this was leveled out. Like, I should dig all that out. I don't know. I don't know, but right now I should go get some lumber while I wait for all this stuff to cook up. See where I planted a bunch of trees over there? That way I can cut down on the distance I have to run to get to decent trees. I actually played on the server Monday night. One of the guys didn't get up till midnight a couple weeks ago when it was supposed to be D&D night, and so we played 7 Days to Die that night on the server, and And then last week we were supposed to play D&D to make up for the previous week, and our DM got sick, so we wound up playing 7 Days, or I guess that was this week, and so we wound up playing 7 Days to Die again this week on the server. And so we hopefully we'll play Monday night. We went and bought all this stuff for to attend a masquerade ball, and then quit for the night. So I'm curious as to how this masquerade ball is going to go down. Like, can you attend a masquerade ball in full armor and carrying your weapon since our intent is to assassinate the queen? She's evil. She killed the previous king and has enslaved all the people who lived in the city and brought in orcs and other people who are disreputable to enjoy having slaves, I guess? I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on. We've barely been in the city. We're wanted by the people in charge, so we had to sneak in. We've talked to like 2 people, and the first person we talked to was part of the rebellion, and and so we kind of jumped in with both feet, since our intent was to come and pretty much kill the leaders anyways. My dude is very against slavery, and so I had intended to overthrow this government that captures entire towns as slaves. And so it's all just kind of working out in my favor, I guess. But, whoop, that is not my axe. That's why I do. And then last night we played our Wednesday night D&D, which is a whole different animal. We talked about what we were going to do a little bit, and DM keeps telling us that he has to prepare, and so we have to tell him where we're going the week before so he has time to prepare. The trick is he's never prepared when we go to play, so I don't know why he keeps saying that, because we know it's not true. And so there's an order level-wise to do these dungeons in, and so we wanted to go, or I said we should do the Earth dungeon, and but we had stopped to pick up fire potions, fire resist potions, because we knew the fire dungeon was coming up, and so he threw a little hissy and said that because we'd purchased fire resist potions, he thought we were doing the fire dungeon, and so he hadn't looked at the earth dungeon, so we had to do the fire dungeon instead. And so we went there, because that's how he is. You don't get a choice, you do what he wants, or else you don't do anything. So we get in, and he can't remember the name of anything, and he's always mangling the names, like merging them together, so you're never really sure what he's talking about, and his descriptions are changing left and right. And so he'll say something, and then you'll act on that thing, and then he'll change it. So we had gone to where we thought the fire people were once before, and it was this ruined tower on a hill, and so we said we wanted to go back there, and then he started calling it the something or another monastery, and that's what he had told us was the name of the where the Earth people were. And I'm like, oh, so we're going to do the Earth people then? He's like, I told you we're not doing that tonight. And I'm like, well, you just gave us the name of the place where the Earth people were at. And he's like, no, this is the name of the fireplace. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure we ever actually got a name for that place. We just went in the woods where the smoke was coming from. And I'm like, it sounds an awful lot like the name of the monastery we went to for the Earth people, where the monks were. Because this definitely doesn't look like a monastery. And I still don't know what the actual name of the place is. He's like, well, Scarlet something. I'm like, okay, well, that still doesn't help me get a name, mister. I have to prepare. So we go into the place and we start exploring, and we roll. I have a thief who rolls really high in stealth, and I usually like to have her scout ahead of the party, so I can find out what's gonna happen before we get there. And for whatever reason, we started doing that, and then he just took all 4 of our characters and moved them into the middle of a fight. He was like, "All right, so you see some light ahead, so you all move forward toward the light, and then you can hear voices up ahead. You got like 2 seconds to decide what you're gonna do." And then the sorcerer goes, "Well, I'm gonna cast a spell as soon as they appear." Okay, well, if that's what you decide you're gonna do, that's fine. But they're really close now, and you can only see. And he never stopped talking after that, so that I could say what I was going to do. And so somehow they were able to approach within 30 feet of us, even though we were looking that direction and there was light. And then we just went straight to combat. And so I sent a message to the guy. I'm like, oh, look, we walked right into another ambush again. Because we didn't control our characters. He put us there and then said we were being attacked. And he does that all the time. And so then we killed those guys. They were really tough. And we moved on. And so what we do, since we don't know what the dungeons look like, or, I call them dungeons, they're not always dungeons. This one in particular is underground, though. And it's some kind of old dwarf ruins, and so we pick a wall, and then we just follow the wall. And so I let the other guy pick the wall every time, and so he picked the left wall. So we're following the left wall, and then there was a point where there was a... right at the beginning, we're like, we follow the left wall, and then he immediately moves us to the right, down a hallway. And we're like, that's not to the left. What do you mean? I'm like, that's not to anybody's left. What are you doing? Well, you said you were going left. How is taking a right a left? Actually, how is going down on the map taking a left? There's no way. There's no way that any of this is the direction you think that we don't want to go that direction. Either way, we're not going that direction. We're going the other direction. He's like, fine. And that's when he moved us into an ambush. And so then we finished that. We found some other mobs and some ogres and half ogres, and they started to come at us. We had found a tripwire, and my character should have found the tripwire, but he always has the other guy find everything because I'm not really allowed to do much ever, it feels like. And every time I try to do something, it winds up being a surprise attack on my character who can't be surprised. But, alright, I need some spikes. Spikes. I probably don't need that many. Can I have like 30 spikes? And so we found this tripwire to a trap, and then we're like, well, I think we should keep it there, and then we'll get the bad guys we have heard who are farther ahead of us here to trip it. and then they can take damage from it, and we'll just be all fine and dandy. And so then it turned out they were really weak, and we killed them before they got to the trap. Uh, and so, but then we found a heed. That's not a word. We found a hidden room that had never been explored. He said, and told us that it was pretty well hidden and in good repair, and that should we ever need to rest, this would be a good spot to do it. And so we definitely took him up on that. All right, do I have my wiring tool? No, I don't. And so he then we went that was a dead end, and so we had to go back to the crossing that we had gone through earlier and go a different way. Not the way he tried to make us go in the first place, but another crossing we had passed through. And so, nope, I have my wiring tool. It's right. No, those are fence posts. The fence posts and the wiring tool look the same. I guess they're not, but man, they are really, really close to looking like each other right there. Think I got any more of these made? A couple more there. And so we see this room that's got like lava in it, and there's all these guys standing there, and I'm like, whew, I don't know if we want to go down there yet. And so we decided to okay. So I think that means this right here should be the spot I can put this down then? I hope it's not one off. It's not. Sweet. You know, there is a problem though, is that I can't go this direction. Also, oop, you didn't grab it. Grab it. There you go. And so we ducked down a different hallway because he said they didn't see us, and we found a bunch of cells, and so the guards to the cells attacked us, and so we had to fight them, and this is where things got interesting. So the way the game is set up, oh shoot, I'm just gonna electrocution. The way the game is set up, the creatures all have what's called a challenge rating, and so that lets you know what. I think I can get that one. I might be one off. I might have just ruined that post. Nope, I didn't. Sweet. And so the challenge rating lets you know what level of heroes can fight against these creatures. And so we're level 9, so a challenge rating 9 creature can fight 4 level 9s. That's what it's designed for. Which means it's a little weaker than 4 level 9s. It's not weaker than 4 level 9s, but because it's a turn-based game and it only gets one turn, it will wind up being weaker than 4 level 9s. Uh, and so it's it's oh man, I was hoping to make it to the corner before I needed another. What are you trying to do? Um, and so when you're trying to figure out how powerful to make your fights, now he's usually not the one in charge of figuring out what is. There's some weirdness happening here. My pool is crazy, and it won't. All right, I need this actually way back here. I'm 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 gonna hold off on this. I'm gonna level this out just to make it easier for my electric fence, I guess. But so I can get back over here, and then I will do this side. So I need one here, and then I need one here. And so the fight in the book is listed as 2 CR2 guards with 2 CR6 mages. Now together, right, that's like 16. Which means this would be a basic challenge for, sort of a basic challenge for 4 level 16s. It'd be pretty easy because they're lower level creatures, but they are strong enough to require, 4 level 16s to put some effort into the fight, depending on the order of turns. And so it's not an easy fight. The level 6 mages are really powerful, and there's 2 of them, which makes it super dangerous. I mean, they can do enough damage to knock out all the players if they hit right, and and so and so he changed it. I don't know why he changed it, but he changed it. And so instead of 2 CR2s, we went out fighting 2 CR5 guards, a different kind of creature, and the 2 CR6. Dude, that's like 22. That's a super powerful group. And so it took like everything we had to fight these guys. It was super tough. And in fact, one of my characters went unconscious during the fight, which means almost dead. And then my other character was down to like 20 hit points, and so it was not an easy fight at all. None of the fights have been easy, but this was ridiculously tough. Like, it's taken multiple turns of multiple people hitting the same creature to knock it down. When it goes down, it explodes and does massive amounts of damage to all the creatures around it. And this is a fire-based dungeon, so everything's got a fire shield. And so when you do hit something, chances are it's gonna hurt you. And so it's not an easy dungeon, which is why I wanted to wait till after we finish the Earth dungeon, because maybe we could go up a level before we hit the Earth dungeon. Or fire dungeon, I mean. And since the Earth dungeon is a couple levels lower than the fire dungeon, and so we finally kill him. It's difficult. We finally kill him. We get healed back up, and we discover there's slaves in the cells. And so the slaves say they will come with us and fight if we let them out. Now the slaves turn out to be evil. Salamanders, which are big fire snake people, and Azers, which are evil dwarves that are on fire, and I mean at this point we're not letting any creatures like this live, uh, and because this is a dwarven ruin, we know the Azers don't belong here. We know the salamanders don't belong here. In fact, I think the salamanders are from a different plane of existence, and so are the Azers. I know they're not from the material plane, which is where we're at technically. Nice. I think I might be able to snag this one in. I couldn't do the other one though because the ground is raising up. Alright, that gets me a nice fence all the way around here. Oh no, you know what I did? I did not put in my... I did not put in my spikes before I put up an electric fence. Oh, and check it out. I put up an electric fence right over top of my ladder. And I can't remember what button does what on here. Alright. Can we move these out of my... I didn't mean throw them on the ground. Wasn't sure I was going to be able to find them. Please don't destroy my turret. Okay, now I need a new cement block. In fact, I might as well just do one on both sides here just to make it... Oh, that's rude. Okay, I need 2 rebars, and might as well grab the other shovel I already have made. Concrete mix and a couple of rebars. And so we got looking at them and we're like, okay, so there's 4 salamanders on one side and 6 Azers on the other, and the Azers and the salamanders apparently hate each other, and so they both said they would only fight if we didn't release the others. And so I came up with an idea, and so I forgot to grab the ladders. I had them release the Azers, and then strangely enough, it was a pleasant surprise. The sorcerer who carries our bag of holding, which is like a magic bag that holds everything, he had 10 dwarven warhammers in the bag. So that worked out perfectly. It was a shocking moment when we're like, oh, hey, we actually have the weapons these guys need to fight with us. And so then I told them we would fight with them, and I said that it would be better if they pretended to be slaves, and that way they could get around to, because we didn't realize when we saw the guys earlier that it wasn't a bunch of guys waiting to attack us, that it was a taskmaster, a couple of guards, and then a bunch of slaves. And so we told them it would be better if they went around the corner as slaves and took up position and attacked as slaves, because then they could get closer before the bad guys realized what was happening. And so they thought that was a good idea. And and so they went around the corner to go start attacking. And I'm like, we'll be right behind you. Right behind you. We'll just wait till you engage, and then we will engage. And so as soon as they went around the corner, I was like, alright, now release the salamanders. And so they released the salamanders. I'm like, look, You know, we made a deal, or we told those guys what they wanted to hear. We just wanted to get them in the fight to take the brunt of the first blows. So now you guys can go and you can attack them from behind after they attack the Afridi, who's running the place down there, and then that way, you know, you can get the best attack possible on all these guys. And so they liked that idea, and so they took off around the corner too. They, for some reason, decided not to fight each other at first, and so they focused on the bad guys. And so then I'm like, all right, now we're gonna stay here for 2 rounds of combat. We'll move up to the edge, but we're not even gonna poke our heads around until these guys have had a couple rounds of combat to hit each other, and make sure they're good and invested in fighting each other. And so then once they were fighting, we come around the corner and unload on the Afridi and his guards, and then by the time the Afridi and his guards were dead, all the salamanders had been damaged pretty bad. Most of the Azers were already dead, and so we just moved down. Our sorcerer hit the Afridi with a huge lightning bolt and took him out, and then my fighter thief backstabbed the first salamander that she got to, and took it out, and we just went from there, and we wiped everything out. And then that fight was really easy compared to the previous fight. And so our DM is like, well, I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up there because we ran late. I haven't figured out what XP is going to be, so I'll let you know what that is probably before next week. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, I've been keeping track. So I know I wrote down everything we killed, and as you gave it a name, I looked it up, and I wrote down its XP. So I actually have the XP ready to go. Are you sure your count's right? I'm like, well, do we get XP for everything that died in this room? And, you know, like even the ones we didn't kill? He's like, yeah, I suppose. I'm like, alright then. Because he had told me that we wouldn't be going up our level this week earlier. And I'm like, dude, we're pretty close. We only need 7,000 XP, and depending on how the fights go. So I thought he was going to say we would only get XP for the ones we personally killed, and so I did keep separate. Yeah, we needed 7,000 to get up to our next level, and we made 8,000 and something, almost 9,000 XP from all the stuff that we killed that night, or last night. And so then I'm like, okay, so now we want to go back to that room. He's like, well, it doesn't help you to go up because you can't go up your level until you long rest. I'm like, well, we're going to go back to that room. He's like, well, you know, the other guy, he's got to go. He's got to get up early. I'm like, yeah, you can hang on for a couple more minutes, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, we're going to go back to that hidden room that nobody had discovered until we discovered it. The one behind the statue. He's like, okay. I'm like, which way does the door swing? Does it swing inward or outward? Because there's a statue right there, so I don't know how well it could swing outward. And he's like, let me read what the book says. And so the book just says there's a statue in front of the door. And he's like, I guess I'll let you decide which way it swings. I'm like, alright, it swings in. And I'm like, I take my hammer and pitons, and I'm going to drive some spikes around this door after we get inside so that it can't be opened. So they'll just think it's a wall if they even track it to the wall and push on it. And then we're going to long rest here. Oh my. Hey, did you guys hit the lightning? I didn't hear you guys spark at all. It's funny, those guys have always got... well, they don't always got, but those skater guys have got mechanical parts on them. Yeah, I didn't hear those guys hit the electric fence. Um, yeah, so we got our level up, and in the middle of the dungeon, he's like, well, you know, after you kill those guys, and now you've taken a full long rest, that there'll probably be more guards and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We got our level. That's all that really matters, because level up makes us more powerful than the dungeon, a little bit, not a lot, but we figure we probably hit the big fight right there with all that stuff. And there might be some other fights with bigger bad guys, but 1 or 2 or 3 bad guys versus the 18 bad guys all in one room. Yeah, 3 bad guys is way easier to fight than 18. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I do have a treasure to go hunt, and so I will probably go hunt that tomorrow when it gets daytime. I do, however, want to get these spikes dug out, and I want to get these spikes dug out, and then I want to get this hill over here. That is weird that it keeps telling me that I need a hoe. I'm trying to repair things. I don't need a hoe to repair my spikes. But, yeah. I think this is coming along pretty good. So, alright, with that, click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.